catalyst investors need to watch. And today, we're discussing the looming shutdown of the Department of Homeland Security after Senate Democrats blocked a funding bill. We are honored to have Nathan Dean with us, giving us a preview of next week. Nathan, it seems inevitable that this shutdown is coming. What would it actually look like this time around?
So this is a partial shutdown. This is the Department of Homeland Security, which includes FEMA, TSA, ICE, and so forth. And this debate is really about ICE tactics. It's not so much about ICE funding. It should be important to note that ICE funding was taken care of by President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill. They're funded through fiscal year 2029. Now, what it really means for those of us in the markets, well, two things. One, there's really not a much market impact from this. Maybe eventually if TSA workers call in sick, you could see some airline disruptions in a couple of weeks. But the message that we've been telling our clients is that the rest of the government, the other 11 appropriation bills, is funded through September 30th. So if you're concerned about things like lack of BLS data or any other type of government, contracting and so forth, you're good through September 30th and probably through March 2027. But the other thing is for every day that Congress is spent debating DHS, it's a day that they're not spent debating things like crypto market structure or housing. So there are smaller bills out there that are effectively being delayed because Congress is still focused on DHS.
Where does that debate stand, Nathan? Clearly enough of a loggerheads to prevent a funding bill from going through. But where are these conversations? Are they getting anywhere, I suppose?
So they're not getting anywhere. I mean, obviously, Congress left. A lot of members of both sides of the aisle flew to Munich just for the Munich Security Conference that's taking place this weekend. But the next step is really to have a counteroffer from Senate Democrats under, Minority Leader Chuck Schumer back to the White House. Now, this debate isn't so much about funding, like I just mentioned. It's about tactics. So whether or not it's a requirement of law, body cameras, or recovery of removal of masks, et cetera. But the White House and Chuck Schumer are going to have to be debating that over the next week. But I will just say is the Senate's not supposed to come back for 10 days, and there really isn't a pressure point here until those first few paychecks start to go missing. So this shutdown could effectively last for DHS for the next few weeks.
Nathan, if I can go a little bit off piece, because I had a conversation that I've been thinking about for a bit a couple months ago with an asset manager who's very well connected politically that said to me, I think 2028, the main election topic and anxiety, and the thing everybody's going to have to address is AI, and AI leading to job losses. There's clear anxiety in this equity market, in Wall Street more broadly, about what the next target will be. Nathan, are there any conversations happening in Washington, D.C. about what policy responses might need to happen if people do face fears of jobs being displaced from AI?
It's happening in Congress. It's not so much happening at the macro level, but specific districts and specific members of Congress are looking at it. So long story short is that you're not going to see a policy coming out of Washington in 2026 or 2027 that is going to be restricting AI. There is debate, however, at the states. For example, New York just is proposing a bill right now banning or putting a moratorium, if you will, on data centers associated with AI usage when it comes to electricity and energy costs. But all that being said is that Washington is really taking a hands-off policy towards artificial intelligence, and you're not really even seeing it at the regulators in terms of examination risk or anything like that. So, I do anticipate this will be something that Congress and Washington responds to, but we have to see the American populace start to bring it up as part of maybe the midterms or, like you said, the 2020 election before they actually come back and say, we need to have a serious look at it.
Nathan, thank you so much for joining us today. Looking forward to reading your outlook for next week. That's Nathan Dean of Bloomberg Intelligence.